Good morning, Rob and Gavin. Thanks so much for having me and having MasterCard at Ops. It's good to see so many friends, partners, and former coworkers, and we have a lot to talk about today. I have a lot of excitement to share with each of you, and I want to get to the punchline first, which is our opportunity, our collective opportunity to drive real business outcomes is bigger than we ever imagined. So I'm going to say it again. Our opportunity to drive real business outcomes is bigger than we ever imagined. Today, I'm going to tell you the proverbial closed loop is here. We can stop with the nonsense of measuring clicks and just looking at other process and proxies and start measuring the business outcomes. I'm going to tell you the Fortune 500 is here to play and win, and you need to be speaking their language because they don't speak ad tech, because we're quickly moving from a world of venture-backed Loomiscape to private equity into Fortune 500 companies participating in this sector. And that playing to win is a much more serious game than playing to sell. If you are playing to sell your company, there is a high likelihood you will lose, or maybe you've already lost. I'm also going to tell you MasterCard is a technology company. And it's a technology company that's been in the data business longer than many companies in this room have been in existence. And I'm also going to tell you MasterCard has a robust and burgeoning global business for advertisers to tie their existing media investments to business outcomes. Now, when I first told friends and colleagues I was headed to MasterCard to run the company's business with the media sector, the reaction was, well, it was mixed. Mostly congratulations, some surprise, some wanting to understand, and some complete bewilderment, and even disappointment. I was abandoning ship from the ad tech and venture-backed world, and I was going client-side, as if this was some diabolical decision on my part, or as if I was throwing in the towel for a country club lifestyle. The reality is very different, and the opportunity for our team at MasterCard and the opportunity for each of you is bigger than it's ever been. Now, one question that Rubicon Project founder Frank Adante always likes to ask is why and why now? So what's happening in the industry that drove my decision to join MasterCard? So the first is data wins. And a lot of you have heard me talk about the edges, that a lot of us exist in the middle, the technical infrastructure that powers data-driven advertising. But the edges, the advertisers on one end and the media owners on the other, continue to reorganize around data-driven decision-making. And consumer purchase insights and the understanding of transaction behaviors are going to be used in this decision-making as it applies to planning, activation, and measurement of advertising. The convergence of advertising technology and marketing technology that Rob alluded to is accelerating this change. So it's really about the edges, and it's something for everybody in this room to think about. Second, smart and trusted data wins more. Smart and trusted data means better outcomes for advertisers and greater relevancy for consumers. And again, Rob alluded to that tension that many of you have as media owner in who are you serving, and this goes to the heart of that discussion. There is too much data of dubious quality. It is too hard to tell good from bad, and that is going to change. Number 3, consumer-friendly data will win the most. And for data to be consumer-friendly, it must include something called privacy by design. The consumer has got to be paramount in the definition of solutions all of us are bringing to market. And if you don't believe me, go talk to the companies on the edges. 4th, data must be global, just like global enterprises. We know the availability of data in the media sector in many markets outside the US is scant. MasterCard, by example, runs its global payment networks in 210 countries and territories. So don't be myopic. This is a global opportunity. Markets outside the US are data starved. It's a different world out there. And regulatory considerations are diverse and wide-ranging all over the world, and you must have institutional knowledge about this in order to play. And finally, data is going to be used throughout the enterprise to drive business outcomes. MasterCard already helps partners to do things like, where do I locate my new stores? And of course, we can tie all that to the activation, the planning, activation, and measurement of their advertising. So let's all stop speaking in pixels, stop speaking in ad tech speak, and let's speak about in the voice of the consumer and business outcomes. Now, to tell you a little bit about MasterCard, MasterCard is a technology company in the global payment sector. Many think MasterCard is a credit card company. This is incorrect. The company does not issue a single credit card. MasterCard provides the payment technology and services to issuing banks, so Citibank or Citizens Bank or Barclays, or other emerging payments platforms such as Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, or Square. And it's those folks who in turn provide the consumer the actual plastic or platform she carries in her wallet or on her mobile device. Now, imagine the scaled global exhaust, the global data exhaust that comes from supporting 43 million acceptance locations, billions of cards, and 142 million transactions every day. Slightly larger than a Nielsen panel. And a connection to real business outcomes. The ability to understand sales and sales lift impact of advertising investment. But the crazy part of this is MasterCard has been running a data-driven insights business for 15 years through its advisors division, helping issuing banks, merchants, and the media sector make better decisions. Now today in the media sector, we go to market with a single solution that allows an advertiser to enhance the overall efficacy of their existing advertising investment. We don't buy media, we do not sell media. We enhance existing efforts. Our solution is accretive to the existing effort. And we have a single configurable solution to leverage across planning, activation, and measurement. The advertiser can look at return on ad spend and tie ad exposure to sales and sales lift. And much of the conversation in our world today is all about understanding digital ad exposure and its impact in offline. And it's a big opportunity for all of us. We seem to finally be getting some consensus on viewability. We hear more and more about foot traffic studies. And you saw just this morning that Snap bought Placed, so there's another indication of that. But strikingly, there are large swaths of the market that seem to either not know we can tie all the way to sales impact, or maybe they just don't want to know. But this is changing. Now, a final word about how data-driven insights are leveraged in the supply chain today. It is a complete and total mess. Way too much friction, way too transactional. There are lessons from the media side, from our Rubicon project experience that Rob and I can discuss during our chat, and there are a lot of other forcing functions. If you are thinking about some of these issues, driving actual business outcomes, tying digital advertising to offline sales, and leveraging data-driven insights in smarter, always-on ways to drive better planning, activation, and measurement, MasterCard wants to speak with you, and so will many, many other companies. Thanks for having me at Ops.